Hey guys, welcome back to Seller Sessions. Yes, you do have it right. This is Norm Farrar. He's normally on the other channel next door, but today he's jumped on my channel and I'll pop back on his as well. Norm, it's been a while since I've had you on the show. How you been?
I've been doing great. Yeah, lots going on. A lot of events this year. It's crazy.
Yeah. What have you done? Well, it's only 2 weeks in. What have you got planned for this year?
Well, there's a lot of different things happening around AI. I just came back from traffic and conversion. Some of the speakers there, I really want to check out what they're doing and just do a better job at AI and not just, write poetry,
Yeah. You want to make it more as a function as part of your business.
Absolutely. Like one guy that I started to look at is this guy, John Benson. I've never heard of him before, but I guess I'm one of the few that haven't, but he was the guy that came up with VSLs, and he's the guy that's trademarked pre-prompting. So very, very smart guy. And just what I learned from this event, not just from him, but from a bunch of other speakers. Perry Belcher was there talking about newsletters and, with Kevin King talking about it. Newsletters are hot. And I think that's another area that we're going to be diving into this year.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, Kevin's come out the blocks with that. I mean, you've got John Durkis. He's got a really good newsletter, and Kevin's come along and smashed it.
Yeah.
I mean, like twice a week. It's mind-boggling how you can come up with all of that information of that level and quality twice a week.
Yeah.
So
he's doing a great job.
More. Yeah, I mean, look, we all know Kevin knows his stuff. We all know that he's like a machine, right? So when you talk to him, it's like a machine gun, brain gun carrier unloading of Amazon information. And all you got to do is shut up and let him speak, and it will go for hours. He's like the Energizer bunny. And it's... He reminds me from back in the day, Will Churland was like that. I don't know if you remember Will, young lad. He had a brother... when I got into the industry at about 2015, a very similar thing. Will's had an older brother, but it just reminded me of when Kevin hit the scene a bit later that year. It was very similar, like that machine gun. It's like constant flow of information. Barely a breath goes in between, but it's just a machine of like really good, solid advice, right? And he can just go for hours.
Yeah,
and I suppose...
Oh no, he tells you it straight too. So like I showed him our newsletter, and he says
he tell you it's shit.
He just said, Norm, how do I put it? It's shit.
Yeah, exactly. But the thing is, he's backed it up.
Yeah.
Right. So if you look at that newsletter, he's killing it with that. And as I said, it's being able to pack that amount of volume of quality twice a week in the newsletter is a lot of work, because if you've got 2 going out a week, you're looking at 100, and it's not even 100 pieces of content. What you're looking at is 15, 20 ideas or areas that get covered within, say, the newsletter twice a week. It's a lot of information. So Kevin checks in the post, I take it. We've done a big plug on the newsletter, not that you need to because everyone's signed up to it. But Norm, today's about you. Kevin's will be next. I'll be recording with Kevin next week, actually. But let's talk about you, and let's cover Google Business Profile. You're being bullish on this. So let's take it from the top. What is a Google Business Profile? Sounds like a silly question. But how does it work, and why it would be benefit for Amazon?
Even though it's been around since the first Pigeon update with Google, it was their attempt at coming out with a social platform where you can manage your online presence. But the problem is it's failed a few times. It started out as Google Places. Then it went over to, what was it? I forget. Oh, Google Plus. And then it went to Google My Business. Now it's Google Business Profile. Each time they've come out with it, it's become better and better and better. it's just an area where businesses can go out there and promote themselves. And by the way, this and every time you use Google Business Profile, you're indexed automatically, immediately. So I've had not arguments, but I've had disagreements with so many brands over the years that it's not for brands. And it's only for bricks and mortar, for local SEO. And that's not correct. It is for local SEO. If you want to do that, that's fine. But for years, right back to when Google My Business started, I've been using it with my brands. And all I did was register with brands.google.com. And then I went into Google Business Profile, Google My Business at the time, and off I went. So many people missed out on it. Now get this, only 4% of eligible businesses are using Google Business Profile. And out of that, brands, there's only 0.01% right now, like that's a current stat, are using it for their brand, 0.01%. And so it's an open market. Like if you want to level the playing field, if you want to be one up on your competitors, Google, like I'm just going to say GBP, it's the place to start off. And it's so easy to get started.
I suppose if it's not seen, it's something that keeps being relaunching. You imagine that, the idea behind it is to get improved visibility for SEO generally, right? So you're looking for additional ways. And I suppose maybe the hard part of it is that SEOs in that industry that focus around Google probably not spoke about it because they've seen it as a repackage. So it's not shiny, new, sexy. Do you know what I mean? But it doesn't mean it can't be utilized. So if you're a brand and you're going to use it, and as you said, you've had a few battles about it being for bricks and mortar, what are you expected to get out of it? In terms of, you want to get the SEO juice, right. Great. You want to get the visibility. It can't work locally if it isn't bricks and mortar in the traditional sense, right. If the brand isn't bricks and mortar. So what are the benefits and how do you extrapolate
So
that?
One of the things that it allows you to do is you can geofence. So you might want to target a city, a region, a state or a province, even a nation. You can go ahead and do that up to 20 different locations within the platform. One of the things you first want to do is register. Super simple. Go to business.google.com. It'll ask you to verify. One thing, Danny, it used to be you had two options. One was to call in. The other one was to wait a week or two for confirmation. Now they also have phone. You can just plug a snippet into your Google Analytics, or you have video. But if you ever have an option, don't choose video. It sucks. Video, they'll make you pull out your articles of incorporation. They'll even make you go out and take a video of your company car. It really does suck. You have more of a chance to get declined using video than any of the other three. And Google Analytics is almost 100%. It'll happen in 2 seconds. You just refresh and you're off to the races. Now, I'm old. I'm just going to say that. You want to repeat your question?
No, I just got, well, you've kind of covered everything there, but you started to move into Google Analytics. And one of the questions I'm going to ask is, how does it integrate with other services? You've mentioned Google Analytics, and it ties in which other Google tools? Is there anything related to Maps or Search Console, etc.?
Yeah. So one of within Google Business Profile, there's different icons. Starting with your profile, reviews, performance is one of them. Ads, but under performance, it's not really that great. They used to have a much better tool, but they took it away for some reason. But you can put this information into Google Analytics and get some really great reports. The reports you're going to get out of the native performance, you'll be able to see the type of browser people are using, the search words that people are using, and you're also going to be seeing the messaging, the performance overall. So you'll be able to see if they came in by phone call, web click, phone messaging service. So it'll have those stats there. But you can get so much more out of Google Business with analytics. And by the way, some of the things that I should mention, Google Business is all about real estate. So we've all seen it. If you're on a desktop, over on the right-hand side, you've got this large map and information about the company. Now, to get that, you have to be number one. If you're number 2 or 3, you're not going to get that. But on a mobile phone, if you are number 1 in search, and again, we've seen this where you can scroll. Sometimes it's 3, sometimes it's 4 or more scrolls before you get to the second place, the second option. So if you're number 1 for XYZ, you're going to take up at least a minimum of 3 swipes on your cell phone. So I don't know about you, but I would, I'd pay a lot of money for that. And going back to your question about the Google Analytics and what other apps, Google has 400 apps. Most people use Sheets or Docs, Slides. Anything that you use with Google will enhance the overall experience. For example, we were working with this Seattle car dealer, and at first, they had 7 dealerships, but they only wanted us to test it out on 1. And they were paying $50,000 a month on SEO. Over a period of a year, because this is a long-term strategy, but over the period of the year, we were able to get very, very similar results at $1,000. $1,000 a month, not $50,000 a month. And the way that we achieved it was updating the images, which is great. But where we got the ranking juice to come in was with Google Sheets and changing the pricing and the text every day. And it didn't take long. It was a bulk, file that we just uploaded, and we started to see results happen in about 3 months. Use the more that you can use it, especially slides, and if you're posting, or if you want people, there's an area, an icon that says ask for a review. Google wants you to ask for reviews. So you take that link, you put it into your Gmail, and not only will you get a little bit extra juice from that, because Google can read that, every email that you send. Can you believe that? I didn't realize that. They don't read your copy, I don't think, but they can tell when you're sending out a review link, and that also helps get extra reviews. And it also helps you with user-generated content as well. For us, we'll run maybe a contest, or I think I've talked to you about this before with our knives. We just sent out a bunch of knives to chefs, and chefs started to give us a ton of user-generated content, and they gave us recipes. And this is a whole marketing campaign that we came up with, was providing these recipes with the chefs holding the knives, or some sort of portrait, and was very successful for us. Plus, we were able to put it into a Google Business, but also just tons of content we could repurpose throughout our other types of social media.
So really, the key thing from that is, I'm trying to think how you're going to leverage it. Like you said, you can get reviews, which is great, and that supports your business. I suppose the main thing is, if you do get the number 1 slot and someone is searching and you're at the top, especially on mobile, they're going to see, what's the word for it I'm looking for? Where you truncate the amount of reviews, but you'll start to see with ... I'm trying to think of the terminology. But obviously that's going to enhance it by having a few reviews. Now, there is no limitation on asking for reviews.
No.
And what strategies would people use? Get the reviews, obviously, ask families and friends, etc., and ask customers, mailers and stuff like that. And then let's look at the benefits of, if you got 10 versus 50 reviews. Have you seen any differentiation in terms of conversion or any uplift in any way?
It's hard to say, but to get reviews, I like to see 20, 25 reviews. That would be ideal. And then anything above that is just bonus. When people go to Google Business Profile, they get a lot of information. Reviews is a portion of it. It's not like Amazon where people really do focus on a review on the search page, because you're limited information when you see that first piece of information on that first on the search page. With Google, you see photos, videos, the map, company description, everything, including, and this is something that is a bonus. You can add photos and you can add videos, no problem. But everything you do is all around this anchor URL. And the anchor URL is, let's say you have a Shopify store, you could use that, or Google store, or an app, Amazon store, Walmart, whatever you want. It is the anchor URL that will get you that indexing ASAP if you're posting anywhere, if it's a blog article, whatever it is. But where this comes in, where the big, I think where the big money comes in is around what's called their product or categories. And this is where your brands come into play. So you can create your products. And let's say I have a Damascus knife. So normally what I'll do is I'll change the title or the file to a brand and Damascus knife, Damascus chef knife, sushi knife, whatever it is. But it allows you to put in the URL. So with Google Business, you're allowed to put in a URL to your Amazon store, Amazon product listing, Walmart, Shopify. It's not going to one place, even though your anchor URL is set in the description. It's going to say, where do you want this to point? And you can point it anywhere you want, and it becomes instantly a shoppable photo. So this is where I think, like I said, if you're looking for extra ranking, this is an area. Oh, and by the way, if you want to get a little bit more exposure, I found two things that really do help out. And one is when you're setting it up, when you go to your profile, very first thing you have to do, set up your profile. It's going to ask you for your holiday, your hours. Well, you can put in your default hours, and usually if it's online, because it's going to ask you if you're an online service or service company, and it'll be 24/7. But if you are running your service on Thanksgiving or Christmas or whatever holiday it is, you're not going to, it'll show closed. So the trick is you want to put the holiday in. It's going to ask you to add holiday times. Thanksgiving, Valentine's Day, and then you're going to be shown. You're not going to show as closed. You're going to be shown at that you're working that day. So that's going to give you some better exposure. It's just a little trick that I've learned.
Cool. What I've done while you've been chatting, and obviously I've been listening, I've just been doing some searches for different types of brand. And so you get different information coming up, right? So for instance, the one I've just searched for is Tesco's, which is a supermarket, national supermarket in the UK. And so what they've got here is the bio has been brought over from Wikipedia. It shows the stock price. It's got the customer service number, headquarters, etc., etc. The brand's underneath it as well with the divisions. And then it's got its social media profile like Twitter, which is X, Instagram, LinkedIn, and Facebook. And they've also got search for related brands. So Tesco's, and then you've got, say, Sainsbury's, which is, again, another food store, like Iceland, Lidl, and Asda. Now, when I look at, say, the Apple Store, again, pulled over from Wikipedia, shows the parent organization. So there's slightly different information depending on what they are. How does that work in that sense? Because I've got Instagram here, again, pulled from Wikipedia, and then they'll give you the original founders and the initial release because it's an app. Then I've looked at Nike, and it shows you the founders, and again shows stock price. So there is some variations there. So if you're a brand, what would you want to see in that search results pages, and how much control would you have over it?
So with Google Business Profile, it's already got a set schema. So it's got for frequently asked questions, for reviews, for any of the posts that it has. You have the control to when you start your business profile, there's going to be, excuse me, I think about 10 icons. And you can fill those out as much as you want. You can leave out information. You can add, there's some custom fields that you can put in there, and you can just fill that all in. As for the way that it appears, I think that does go by, like right now, if I put in lunch with Norm, I don't see it. Okay. But in the States, you would see it. So, it does show up here at different times, and I don't know the reason why I can see it here sometimes. I was talking to Kelsey about it, and he was telling me that it was because we were using VPN, but it's our VPN. It's picking up that we're using a VPN, so it's not showing it here. Now, I'm not 100% sure on that, so I'll leave that at that. But the more information that you can put in, and the more keywords that you can rank for, the better it's going to be. And one of the other things I should mention is that you want to fill in as much as you can, but when it comes, there's two icons. One's messaging and one's calls. You can get a phone call through Google Business Profile, but you can't return a call. You can receive text. You can receive text. And you get the person who called you. The other thing that you can do, and this is really cool, a lot of people aren't taking advantage of this, but you can get messaging. So you can set up Google Business Profile with your WhatsApp or whatever communication channel that you want, and it'll come in. You can add photos. You can add frequently asked questions. You can put pretty much anything you want in that. So it provides a little bit extra customer service. So anybody who's coming to you with simple questions, they'll find out. But here's the beauty of it. You can use an app like Apex Chat, and a live agent can come on 24/7. And I don't know about you, but that's definitely, if I want to get a service, I want an answer now. And through this app, I have nothing to do with it. I've just been researching it. They have a plugin to Google Business Profile. Typically, this is used on a website, but you can use their app to plug into Google Business Profile, and now you've got a way for 24/7. And I think it's like $10 a lead or something like that. Very cheap.
No, it's good. I think that's also good for service-based businesses as well that are not involved in our community.
Right. Yeah.
That can take advantage of that. And final question on this: how frequently should you update it, and do you need to?
Yes, and that's a big problem because a lot of people, they think it's one and done, and we've seen this with a company we were working with, that they had it. They worked with it, and they didn't think it worked because there was absolutely zero traffic going over to, they could track it. And we just started updating, and not a lot of updates, 10 minutes a day once you get it set up. You don't put in a lot of posts or blogs. You only want to put 2 a week up, or three's maximum. Photos, you can put up to 10. But you don't want to overpost because you're going to start to look spammy. A couple of things you do want to do. So there's an option there. It says add update. You can do an update, an offer, or an event. And each one has weighted differently. So an update could be just a blog article, or just a regular post, another type of photo. The offer is something that you could do with Shopify, or you can go to your Amazon, create a promo code and put it in there. And that's weighted a little bit differently. But the best one is an event. And if you can create an event And that could be around Black Friday, Cyber Monday. It could be around a new product, a product launch, whatever you want. That gives us a date, a start date, an end date. You can still put a coupon in. You can have a link back to wherever you want it to go. And that gets a lot more exposure than any of the others. So it really does help you get more exposure. And that's something if you can do throughout the week, that would be great. So if you're promoting a product or a variety of product, just have them, just have one end, have another one start, one end, have another one start, and that'll get you some exposure. But literally 10 minutes a day. And here's some results. So that one, I was just telling you that they got no exposure. They ended up, now this is over a period of 1 year. They got 15,000 impressions from Google Business over to their site. Okay, it doesn't sound like a lot, but these are top ranked number one. So they were able to rank number one on Google from Google Business Profile with that real estate to get them over. Now, one that I just been talking about, showing some people, is that another company, this is 2.5 years old. So within that first 6 months, they really got nothing. The next year, they got 2.5 thousand results. 27,000 results. And right now, year to date, from December, okay, so from last December, it's 275,000 impressions. So, and the click-through rate, okay, the performance, they had over 17.5 thousand leads. 17.5, and that was over 3 months.
Jeez.
Yeah.
There's no way you can service all those leads or get through them. Even if you got 17,500, you got probably 2 or 3 people need to work on that on a 40-hour.
Yeah, and it depends on what they're doing, because it could be a click through.
Of course, but it's just receiving it. What about if you've got to put it into a workflow?
Yep.
And it's more complicated, and it's got to go through 4 sets of hands or something,
Right. So most of those are website clicks, but we tracked it. We've got phone calls, we've got emails, we've got everything is tracked through the performance reports.
Incredible. Is there anything you would like to add before we go?
As for Google Business Profile, just do it. Do it. Like, go out there and it's so important that you spend the time, and ChatGPT is going to be your buddy, because it's going to ask you to create that description, make it engaging, keywords in the first paragraph or 2, but you've got, I think it's 750 to 1,000 characters, and throughout whatever you're doing, your profiles, every image that you're putting up there, you can have up to, I think, description 750 characters. Do it.
All right, Norm, thank you. What is the best way that people can reach you? And guys, don't forget, Lunch at Norm. Make sure you subscribe to his podcast if you're not doing so already. What's the best way to reach you?
Okay, so it's norm@amz.club, or just through social media. And by the way, over the last 2 months or 3 months, Kevin and I have been working very closely together on these newsletters. And we went from what I thought was an okay newsletter to a true newsletter that really doesn't suck. So if you want to subscribe to our newsletter, it's just lunchwithnorm.beehive. That's 2 I's and beehive, ad.com. And you won't be disappointed. There's a interesting story at the beginning, and then we kind of modeled it the way that Kevin's been doing his.
Excellent. So, and I'll say this respectfully, because what Kevin said earlier on. So you've gone from a shitty newsletter to a really good
unbelievable newsletter. We've got by just and I don't go by open rates, but click-through rates are through the roof, and really high quality information. So it's just another form of our community, and we wanted to make it more of a mastermind. So there's some retail in there. There's AI. There's Amazon, Walmart. There's a variety of different things.
Yeah. I mean, how long does it take you to put something that magnitude together?
It's a lot of work.
Condensed information. It's because of all the editorial, isn't it? So have you got automation set up in terms of pulling in any information, or is it manual? The person with the basically you're the person with the domain knowledge, so you're filtering for the best content, basically. So there is a manual.
Yes. So there is a formula. So the beginning of it is always something unique. Like I talk, like we've done 6 or 7 of the new format. It always starts off with, like, the one was how I got held hostage by a notorious bike gang over birthday cake. Another one was I was on a hijack plane. I tell the story. And then we have some fun into it. There's a Where's Waldo sort of image where it's find the beard guy. So there's a little bit of humor in there. And then we leverage experts in the field where we'll talk to them. They provide us with information. We also go out and find Amazon updates or Walmart updates or retail updates. And then people really love the AI information that we're putting in there and the types of prompting or apps. So it probably takes us 4 to 6 hours to complete one newsletter. Comes out once a week.
No, it's good. I mean, that's what I said. It's a lot of work. I was trying to work out whether there is some of it's automated, but I don't think with good editorial. I mean, Kevin spoke about this. We were joking because I called it. What did I call it? I was sitting down with him and Steve, and I was doing some of my A9 talking about breaking down some of the science literature, and they're looking at me almost laughing because they're like dumbed down. It's Dan. Look, when we get back from Australia, we're going to have to teach you some shit. And kindly enough, Steve did jump on and, yeah, so it's taken things to the next level. But the point I was going to get to is that I think you can't replace the editorial part. There's work in there. You can automate everything else. But you as a tastemaker, let's call it a tastemaker. That's what we used to call them in the music industry. You know, you have tastemakers, and in each industry you would. So someone has to cultivate that information and make sure it's the very best of its kind in that period, which takes human intervention, and it takes time and domain knowledge to achieve that. So that's the one bit the AI thing can't get rid of. You know, we can talk about the future of replacing the person in the video with AI. So everything's AI. But then when we were having a discussion, you lose the imperfectness of someone's personality.
Yeah, and
because you take off all the edges.
You're right.
Know? But it's interesting, like you said, is that there's only so much information that you can curate before it has to have a human to decide, is this good or is this going to be a shit newsletter?
Yeah. Like you said, it's got to be in your tone. And this is where like a guy like Kevin does have the advantage, because he knows this. He comes from that industry.
Yeah.
So you can see that ooze through his newsletter.
Yeah. Yeah. No, like I look at Kevin is like, when it's pound for pound in terms of knowledge base across the board, I think he's the best to do it. And he has consistent over the years. There's not many people that can hold a torch on multiple levels. Someone might be better in a vertical than him, where they have expressed domain knowledge, which is just in one area. But as an all-rounder, I think there's very few that could keep his consistency and level and volume. He's got that down pat.
Yep.
So Kevin's going to love this one. We've blown him up with this guy, isn't it?
Well, he gave me $20 to say this too, so.
$20, fucking hell, you're cheap. He gave me a $5. No, in all seriously, respect to the king, and respect to you, Norm. The podcast is going well. You've still been going since COVID, which is good, and hopefully I'll be able to see you out on the road at some point soon. What's the plans for the rest of the year for you?
Well, right now, next week is Online Sellers Cruise, so that'll be a good one. Yeah. Hey, you're not going, are you?
Nope, I am now home until May. I've got nothing in the calendar and no plans to go anywhere before Seller Sessions Live. So I'm taking all this time off to work from home and not go anywhere and not be on the road. But yeah, go on.
Yeah,
sorry.
So the only other thing is I'm thinking about going out to the Titan event in Cancun. And then we've got March. So I belong to a mastermind called M3. So we're going to be meeting, and then we're going to go to the Prosper Show. And that's about as far as I've got it planned.
Yeah, no, it sounds good. Norm, lovely to see you. Get you back later on in the year. You can jump back on the other side. We'll see you on the other side of the internet very soon. Thanks for your time. And best way to reach you. I did ask at the beginning of the end of this part, but we carried on having a chat. So do you want to let people know again, best way to contact you?
So it's just norm@amz.club or social media. And it's just, you could type in either Norm Farrar or Lunch with Norm.
Excellent. Guys, thank you for joining us today. Norm, thank you for joining us. I'll be back here again next week. Take care of yourself and your family. Much love, and I'll see you then.